Well, in the state of Georgia last week, two people got into an argument at a supermarket. In a sane society, that would be the end. No one would have heard about it, and those involved would have moved on with their lives. This is no longer a sane society, however. So when a fellow shopper told Georgia lawmaker Erica Thomas she had too many items to use the express checkout lane, she immediately accused him of being evil and attacked him on the basis of his race. Watch.
People are getting really out of control with this. With this white privilege. This white man comes up to me and says, "You lazy son of a bitch. The hate is real." And for that white man to come up to me and call me a son of a bitch and lazy and go back where I came from because he had a couple items and he wanted to get in front of me. And he said I had 20 items in a 10-item line. What would make you that angry to yell at somebody like that? Y'all see Ilhan Omar, and y'all see all this stuff about send her back and stuff like that, but it's getting out of control. There's so much hate in this world, and it's being incited by our president every single day.
So the press, having forgotten the last 2 or 3, or was it 4 dozen fake hate crimes, immediately believed Thomas completely and blamed the administration for creating a climate of hate. They would still believe her now if the man she accused didn't come forward on his own. But he did come forward. His name is Eric Sparks. And he's not a member of the Klan, it turns out. He is Cuban, and he's a Democrat. He's an avid Democrat, a liberal Democrat. And he says that Thomas lied completely about what happened. Thomas didn't even fight back. In an interview with local television station, she had backtracked, and she said that actually Sparks never said, "Go back where you came from." Huh? But it didn't matter to the New York Times. Good journalists are supposed to state the key facts first. The New York Times does the opposite. Their headline said this, quote, "Go back where you came from," Georgia lawmaker says she was told. But actually, she said she was not told that. In the story, the Times waited 14 paragraphs before telling you, the reader, that Thomas had actually retracted her phony accusation, which seems like fraud. Robby Soave is associate editor at Reason magazine and the author of Panic Attack, Young Radicals in the Age of Trump, and he joins us tonight. Robby, you've done journalism your whole adult life. If you run a story with a headline that is completely false, and you know it's false, and in fact, at graph 14, you concede it's false, that's not really journalism, is it? That's something else.
No, it's not. It's not much of a story. It sort of starts to make you wonder, why was this even written? Who decided a trivial dispute between two stressed-out shoppers is a national news item? And not only a national news item, but one that confirms all the sort of worst biases of the New York Times readers about what's going on in Trump's America, et cetera, et cetera. Every story must be about Trump, right? Somehow it's about racism and Trump when we get to it. That angle has to be in there. We just have to find it. That's the operating thinking of so many people in the mainstream media. When this was not news. This was something that happened that just happens to people. And, you know, I think the guy was kind of a jerk. I think she was kind of a jerk. People are jerks to each other. That's it. There's no story here.
So maybe the real point of the story had nothing to do with Erica Thomas or Sparks, the apparently falsely accused perpetrator, but it's really about the people writing the story. And the message they're sending is, we're good people. We're not like the president. We're virtuous. I mean, it does seem like stories like this are really a kind of narcissism that are designed to make the person telling the story seem like a really good person.
Yes, they're good, and they want you to be angry. They want you to be confused and angry and think that everyone is out to get you, because that's what sells more newspapers or attracts more people to click on the article. If there's, there's something you should be mad about, and everyone's mad about it, and why aren't you worked up enough yet, is the kind of ethos that prevails in this, like, social media culture, where you see something, looks bad, you've decided, there's no need to follow up, and, you know, these stories are always more complicated. Even when they're true, there's always something more complicated about them, and we're too quickly, we're not looking into that because, nope, we know what we think already, and it must be that this is about Trump, of course.
You'd think the New York Times would be above that, but in fact, they're beneath it. Robby Soave, deep, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.